Since we are going to be talking about the simulations and datasets, I have switched to the debug perspective of Riviera-PRO, and that opens up dataset viewer, hierarchy viewer, and the object viewer on the right hand side part of the tool. Let me start a simulation. With every simulation started in Riviera-PRO, the tool creates a dataset, which is the combination of design's hierarchy and the object values. The design hierarchy is displayed in the hierarchy viewer, so we can expand that, and then depending on which level of the hierarchy we highlight, the object viewer reflects the respective objects from the respective levels of the hierarchy. Now, when the design is large and we're looking at the hierarchy of a larger design, we may want to find certain things, and for that we can use Ctrl F to bring up a hierarchy find window here, and we can be looking for either nodes, which are design components, or objects, signals, ports, and we have different filters that we can apply there. In addition, let's say when I'm looking at the UUT level of my design, I can further apply the filter in the object viewer as well as in the hierarchy viewer, and that would filter out the signals or narrow down the list to the ones that start with F underscore. So these are the some of the features that help you navigate efficiently in the hierarchy viewer and in the object viewer. Let's say I want to add some signals to my design, to my waveform, and run the simulation. Again, the information that I currently see on the waveform comes from the sim dataset that is a currently active dataset. Now, let's say if I wanted to compare this simulation to some other simulation, what I would have to do is load another dataset with the information from another simulation. How can I do it? It's pretty simple. There are numerous ways. One of those is just to click on the Add Dataset icon right here and navigate to the previously saved dataset, or .hdb in terms of the file names. Let me load that second dataset. What happened is the next simulation 1 dataset was loaded into the dataset viewer, and also please note what happens when I switch between those two. The hierarchy viewer and the object viewer are synchronized with the dataset viewer. So if I'm highlighting simulation dataset sim, then the information in the hierarchy and object viewer comes from that respective dataset. Now if I'm highlighting dataset simulation 1, then again the hierarchy and the object values come from that dataset. Now let's say I wanted to compare certain signals from my simulation 1 dataset. I could just pull a signal, start, and drop it to this another signal, start. Now how would I see which dataset they are coming from on the waveform? I can do it by enabling dataset column. I had to right click on the name header of the column, and then from the context menu I can select dataset and then rearrange the column's location. Now if I wanted to right align the dataset column, I could do it by holding Ctrl on my keyboard and simply dragging dataset word with my mouse, and that applies to every column, not just the dataset column. Now I can clearly see that signal start here comes from the different simulation marked by simulation 1, and I could also go further and let's say drag another signal count, drop it here. In that case I already see that okay, this simulation comes from another this signal information comes from another data set, and I could clearly see that those signals are shifted. So this is how you can actually have how you can manage your datasets. Now just be careful when you look at the values in the object viewer, make sure that the correct dataset is highlighted. Another thing is that this is not the default layout of the windows. In the default layout of the windows, the dataset, hierarchy and object viewer overlap, so I had to actually put them one on top of each other so that I could see them all at the same time. In my next movie, I'm going to explain how we can actually compare entire data sets. That would compare all signals from each data set.